لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محرمتها، وكم كرهت مصابها.
And look how inconsistent and confused he is. He mentions here that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab is not my saint. In the worst case, he's a Takfeeri. And scholars like Shaykh Al-Albani spoke about his Shiddah and Takfeeri tendencies. That's not breaking news to me. Look what he says in the following tweet. In either case, he's still better than many of the mushriks. So look at this. So mushriks, okay, who fought people, who didn't just commit some haram, rather people who are undoubtedly worse than pagan Quraysh. So, so what he's acknowledging is Muhammad Abdul Wahab's Takfeeri tendencies, okay, and what he does straight after is follow the same principles of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. In either case, he's still better than many of the mushriks who fought, okay, people who didn't just commit some haram, etc. Furthermore, okay, and honestly, this man, I believe, he's got some issues. He's thick-skulled. He's very, very idiotic. He says, yes, it's retweeting a brother, okay, who he's responding to. Yes, a muwahid who's applied takfir wrong, so he's talking about Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, is still better than a mushrik. So so you can't even make this up. That he says that the takfir that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab was incorrect, it was not right, but then literally applies his exact principles that they are mushriks, okay? He's better than a mushrik. Coming back to me now, look, it just shows how they try to jump over hoops in order to not label Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab a radical and extremist, not to give the audience the clear information regarding where this stems from. And they'll criticize, obviously, like I mentioned, consistently the Takfiris and their likes. But Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab somehow mysteriously is, ignored. His atrocities are ignored. But then they wonder, well, why are these extremists and these Takfiris taking on and following on the methodology of who we like to call Takfiri radicals? I put this tweet up on the 23rd of July. As you can see, Takfiri Tendencies Part 3 is on the horizon, people. So Takfiri Tendencies Part 3 wasn't out yet. I just gave a taster of this, okay? I want to give a little taster before it's released. I'll just repeat myself. I've expressed many times that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab and his bandits were the forefathers of Daesh, meaning ISIS. The Najdiyyah entered a town of mushriks, according to them. So you see, the Najdiyyah entered a town of mushriks, according to them, and slaughtered 1,500 people. So I'll put it there. Hassan Shimrani basically retweets a Takfiri. This guy is an utter Takfiri. Now look at this, 23rd of July. Bro Jahil yet again shows his ignorance. He calls Mushrik Rawafid of Al-Qatif as his brothers in Islam. Now I didn't call them our brothers. I didn't call them our brothers at all. Rawafid who curse and abuse wives of the Prophet, call them prostitutes, worship 12 Persian trannies, say in Tahrif, abuse Allah by saying he did taqiyya and was afraid of Sahaba. So listen to this. So Hassan Shimrani retweets this brother, okay? And he mentions, bro, Haji, may Allah guide him committing blunders as usual. Now, what blunders did I make? But let's see. So remember, 1,500 people were slaughtered indiscriminately, like you see in Peshawar, like you see in Kunduz, like you see in Cairo, like you see in all other places, okay? So he mentioned, Qatif is an ancient, hardcore Rafidi town. The Hanafi madhab is arguably the hardest against the Rawafid. Yeah, my madhab, they are very harsh. Them being regarded as kuffar is a long tradition of Hanafi scholars of all strands. Now notice, he hasn't mentioned anything about condemning the slaughter, etc. He's just mentioning that, they're hardcore Rafidi. And I agree, the Hanafi madhab were very harsh. Carrying on. I'm carrying on. Number 2. This was number 1, as you notice. So this is number 2. He mentions Ibn Battuta, okay, who died a few hundred years before Ibn Abdul Wahab was even born, visited Qatif and described it as a hardcore Rafidi town where the extremist 12ers included the following in the Adhan. Ali is the best of creation and whoever denies that is a kafir. Because Rihla is full of made up stuff. Okay, so you won't take what he wrote against Ibn Taymiyyah, but you'll take this. Okay, anyway. Book of Fantasy. He even allegedly saw Ibn Taymiyyah give a sermon and descended the mimbar and described God as descending. Exactly, people are saying it. Problem with the year and date he allegedly witnessed, the incident of Ibn Taymiyyah was in prison. Remember, he hasn't mentioned anything about the 1,500 people being killed, okay, in these 2 tweets, retweeting that brother, the Takfiri, who obviously called them mushriks. We got to Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, what he says about them, totally in different contrast. Number 3. Is Ibn Battuta Wahhabi and Najdiyyah? He's got a habit of, making these sort of statements. Poor talab, research and manhaj, a lack of Arabic combined with ignorance of geography leads to such embarrassing blunders. Now look at that. Okay, look at that. So that's coming back to me now. Now anywhere in that on those initial tweets that he mentioned or condemned any of those atrocities. Rather, he was retweeting a Takfiri who was calling them mushriks, etc. You were a Rafidi yesterday and just jumped on a Salafi bandwagon extreme the next day. And then you just went from one extreme to another. Answer, do you think what the Wahhabis did to the Rafidi time was justified? Now, this is what they're asking him, okay, under the tweet. You can see the 23rd of July with the arrows over. So they were requesting answers from him as well. You see, so all I did was I just asked the same question. I said, well, hold on, what do you think about the slaughter? And he was trying to like agree with him by saying, yeah, it's a hardcore Rafidi town, etc. I didn't mention in any way, shape or form in my tweets that they were our brothers. But he didn't comment on that. He didn't comment on the 1,500 people that were slaughtered, nor did he condemn it. Okay? So he's obviously, attacking me, etc. So I responded by saying, well, look, he never commented about the slaughter and he's retweeting a Takfeeri, etc. But what does he do? He retweets and says, I never argued that their mass slaughter was justified. That's a lie. And the Sufi grave liquor peddles just like the peddles other Rafidi Sufi khurafat. May Allah ruin and expose him more. Okay? So getting back to what I was saying earlier, okay? Your tweets, which was retweeting another Takfeeri that mentioned that they're mushriks, you didn't condemn them. You didn't say they're not mushriks, okay? Because Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah didn't have that view. And I'm going to show you when I translate the book from Shaykh Sultan al-Amiri. He was totally different when it comes to the Rafida. And I don't want to bring it in this video because I'm going to do a dedicated video. So you mentioned 3 tweets. Obviously, one that the Khatib is a hardcore Kaburi town. Number 2, they said Ibn Battuta visited and said that, they said this in Adhan. And number 3, that I'm a poor researcher, etc. Not once did you condemn it, okay? What you're seeing in Peshawar now, okay, and in elsewhere, okay, you condemn it. So I'm not saying you won't condemn it. But when I put that response out saying, oh, hold on here, why didn't you mention anything? Because the God honest truth is that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab is their forefather. And you need to be brave enough to come out and accept that now. It's clearly written there that 1,500 got slaughtered. But all you went on a rant, okay, you went on a spew, okay, about, there's a Rafidi town and they're hardcore and the Hanafis are very strict and Ibn Battuta said they said this and it's poor talab. But you never mentioned anything about the atrocities because the Najdiyyah did it. So you see what I'm saying? We're showing you your hypocrisy. You would condemn ISIS if they did something like that today in any part of the world. But Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab or the early Dawah to Najdiyyah, it could be Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab's lifetime because he's in 1206. It was right in front of your face, but you completely ignored it. So when I followed up and said, hold on, he didn't even condemn it. He basically went on a tirade, didn't even mention anything about it. He goes, no, I always condemn it. See, it's a reaction. We've had enough of this wordplay, okay? Oh, he had extremism. He's the forefather of ISIS. Simple. Okay, there's no 2 ways about it. He's a radical and an extremist. No 2 ways about it. And his bandits who he taught were far worse. No 2 ways about it. Khalas, that's what we want to hear. Okay, that's what we want to hear. How hard is it for you to say that? Muhammad Abdul Wahab is a radical and extremist. I can say that. May Allah forgive him. Okay, I'm not saying he's Khariji, by the way. Okay, but he's a radical and extremist. Khalas. Now look at the egotistical nature of this individual. He tweets a debate that he had with a Rafidi and says 12 Caliphs hadith. Hadi Tabrizi, Shia debater, wrecked in a debate with the ex-Shia. Okay, I'm just showing you the mindset he's got. He's basically commenting that he wrecked someone in a debate. That's what you leave for other people to say. He labels me a grave kisser, etc. He's lost his brain cells, that's fine. And wants to peddle even more Rafidi Sufi Shubahat. Okay, you see. Okay, so I'm trying to... Have you ever seen him once blasting Ahmad al-Ruhan for his kufr and shirk? Okay. He's a textbook Ruwaybida and an enemy of Ahl Sunnah. So I am an enemy of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Look at this. Furthermore, he writes, the donkey of Birmingham, by Allah, this is an insult to all 4-legged animals. Or 4-legged donkeys, should I say. The donkey of Birmingham enjoys slandering his opponents, but then can't take the heat. I can take the heat, mate. Trust me. Did I involve the safety of his children and family by repeating Rafidi slander like he did? What are you talking about? The Himar involved my family and got humiliated for that. Okay. See, he's emotionally invested. But there you go. Why support and why defend? Because you said, as you can see, Najdi did this, Najdi did that, Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab and his followers did that. But all I did was present that he has Takfeeri tendencies and he is the forefather of ISIS. But you wanted to defend it. You put Durar al-Sunniyah on the ground. Anyway, furthermore, he said, when I repeated that he swore by Allah, like he took an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is grave. He says, why I repeat, by Allah, it is an insult to innocent 4-legged animals like donkeys. Look at that. Now he's expanded the insult by saying, I am worse than all 4-legged animals. So even a khanzir had four legs as well, 4-legged animals. So I'm worse than a khanazir? Huh? I'm worse than a khanazir? They are innocent. Okay. They don't peddle kuburi shubuhat like you. You are a Ruwaybida with a mainly for good reason, Bredvi Kaburi following. Now, when he mentions Kaburi, look, I've got the book here. Okay, I'm going to do a video on it. تطهير الاعتقاد by Imam Al-San'ani. Okay, Imam Al-San'ani, obviously, you go to page 98. Okay, you know, there's passages here about the Quburiyun, and he mentioned, I'm going to go into it about those in Iraq and those in India and those in Mecca, etc. This is tahqiq.
آمنت أن الآخرة لا بد يوما آتية كل الخلائق حاضرة كل السرائر بادية في موقف ما أعظم لم تخف منهم خافية والهول فيهم قد بدا الشمس منهم دانية في موقف ما أعظم لم تخف منهم خافية والهول فيهم قد بدا الشمس منهم دانية